Native American kind of thing.
Yeah,
A lot to sweat lodge and
yeah.
tea ceremonies and stuff.
There's a
Uh,
lot of tribes up here, man.
he's
Yeah,
in, he lives in Boulder.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's still a big there's still a lot of Native Americans and Indians here.
yeah. My dad wants to go to Nebraska to
Alright.
spend time with them. Yeah, my dad had one teacher for a long time in Nebraska, and now he's a very like important singer here in Guadalajara. My dad.
Oh, your dad is. Whoa, man.
Yeah, and he wants to go back. Well, he's from here, from Guadalajara. He's 100% Mexican, but he spent a lot of time in Nebraska, and he
That's
met
how your English got so good.
yeah, and he spent a lot of time with the Lakota people,
Mm-hmm.
and well, he came back and he wants to like that was a long time ago, and now he wants to go back to the States, but he doesn't have his visa or money. So I'm saving. I have some savings, and I want to go.
What, does he just need enough money for a plane ticket or what?
Yeah, I need enough money for a plane ticket, and organize how to spend time over there with him. And,
Yeah, yeah. So would you ever come up? Would you ever come up to the States?
yeah, to California. I go once a year to San Francisco. Well, my brother moved to Marin County.
Yeah.
Now we go once a year to Marin and Oakland, San Francisco. You know,
Let me know the next time you come in, man. I'll see what I can do to get out west. We'll
yeah,
like hang out in San Francisco or something.
that would be awesome, man.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah,
I got some friends out in Cali too.
yeah. The only place I've been in the States that is not California is DC. I spent Christmas 2 years ago over there.
In DC and Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, I guess. Like there's a lot to see in DC. It's
No,
not,
I didn't spend like it was a lot of cold and
yeah, yeah. You
dry,
gotta do a lot of walking there. Like that's all you do in that city is walk.
and I was staying in the suburbs, so I didn't do anything like important. I just went to see the downtown museums and stuff like for one day, and that was it. And I spent like 2 weeks inside a house with a heating system, and
Yeah,
play
yeah.
games with my cousins. So
Oh,
yeah, I like the West Coast
yeah.
more.
Yeah, the West is the best.
Yeah,
You know?
And
But
okay,
it's
are you guys coming to next January retreat?
10 days,
yeah,
10 days.
Okay, that's it.
Oye, pero si vamos a hacer a May, ya no vamos a poder viajar mucho, porque no está así súper. Salimos de hacer a May 2 semanas y nos regresamos.
Sí, sí.
Yeah. Voy por agua. I'm gonna go for water, man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you keep on going.
No, no.
Okay.
I can hear from the kitchen.
All right. Yeah, he'll be right back anyway. Okay, where were we?
In the personal pronouns.
That's right. Yeah, we were just about to start getting good, getting fun. Um, so these here are, you'll use these a lot. You'll use these are going to be these are going to be some of the most important things you learn. Um, you'll use these more than anything, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, like Kerang, you'll hear Kerang a lot. And from now on, you should know Kerang means you, right? Or if I was to say Kerang so, right? Like we learn the particle for making something plural. It's so. So if I wanted to say like you all, right? Talking about a group of people, I would say Kerang so.
yeah.
Um, let's see. You guys know the word for na, or the word for I is na. You know, or now you're going to find that the word for you, if I was to refer to a pal, right? If I was to say, you are nice, you know, I'd say kerang yapodu, right? Re, and that would be, I would be referring to pal, right? Let's see. So if I, okay, and here's something kind of distinctive. The word for he and she, you see how I have it listed here as being the honorific form, right? Do you guys know what honorific is?
No.
Okay, so there is, in Tibetan, there is, there are, oh gosh, how am I going to say this? Okay, well, so depending on who you're talking to.
Oh, like a sir, like honorific way to say to someone like you, but it's like a important person.
Mr.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, like if I was talking to Geshe Lotar, right, the monk that's going to be at the house that we're going to be staying at, I would always use honorific terms when I talk to him. He's Ken Rinpoche's nephew. He was the disciplinarian of Sera Monastery for I don't know how many years. He's a very important person, you know, very important person. He's a very high lama. So I would always use the honorific terms with him, you know, and I'll make it a point. He's going to be very relaxed about the situation. He will be if he teaches you any Tibetan, Geshe Lotar, he's going to teach you the non-honorific way of saying it. He's going to teach you the way that you would say it to the other monks, you know. So I'm trying to. I don't want to scare you, but within Tibetan, you've got non-honorific ways of saying things. You've got non-honorific. You've got honorific. You've got high honorific.
All right.
Yeah, and you've got a honorific.
Master.
We call
Super honorific.
I'm
what
gonna
they call.
be next to you when we be with Ken Rinpoche. I'm gonna be next to you and I'm gonna repeat everything you said.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad practice to get into, you know. I don't think because we're coming from America, or because you guys are coming from Mexico and we're coming from America, they're not going to be quite as offended, right? If we use that, if we use non-honorific terms for them, it's not going to be offensive. But if you're somebody that studies and you come back to Sarah like I am, they may, you know, because I've had time now to learn, you know. Like Geshe Michael was always he was very good about using the right term when he was talking to people. So I bring this up not because I want to scare you and not because I want you to think that you have to learn all the different terms for all these different things, you know? Like an epistolary here means you've got an honorific way of writing things. Like if I was going to write a letter to Geshe Lotar, I would use the honorific epistolary instead of the honorific. Now the high honorific is usually just used when you're talking to His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. So that's actually not one that you're going to have to worry about that often. So remember that the high honorific is something that you're just going to use when speaking to His Holiness. The honorific epistolary is something that you may learn if you want to learn how to write Tibetan well, and if you want to ever talk to a High Lama through email or something, you would want to learn this one here. But for the most part, we're just going to be using these two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I just thought it would be. I thought it would be helpful to let you guys know that all the different types of like Tibetan, right?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
If there's a non-honorific way to name someone, I mean, my question is why there's a non-honorific way to call someone? You just don't use the honorific way, right? The honorific word.
Yeah, that's actually the whole reason that I went into that was because I was about to say this. So the whole reason I went through that was just to kind of let you know what I meant by this. So generally, we won't be using this one or this one. It is accepted practice when you're speaking Tibetan to anyone to use Kong.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you see how there's actually an honorific way of saying he or she, and Kong both means he and she. So if you wanted to say ko, that would mean he. And like, let's say I was talking to Katie, right? Somebody that I talk to all the time, you know, I would say ko rang, yeah. But like if it's somebody I meet at the market, you know, and I'm talking to somebody that I meet or walking around the monastery or at a restaurant or something, I would use Kong, right?
So we
Go ahead.
say maybe it's not better if we use all the time an honorific way to speak to the monks, and won't be more polite in one way.
You know, that's actually what I was going to go into, because this is so the words for he and she being Kong is pretty much the only time that you'll see it being accepted as this being honorific. You could say this for honorific, and you could say it for informal speech as well. You say, like, you know, there's usted, right? And then ustedes, yeah? Like, and those are informal. You have a polite way, and so basically here, I'll just be simple. This is you use this one all the time, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
I was more so just including these in here to let you know that they exist.
Okay, sure, yeah, right, you're right.
And to you can use these in informal situations. Like once you get to know the monks, you can use these.
Okay.
So can you give us an example of a sentence with Kong or ko or mo?
Yeah. I say he is a Buddhist, right? I'd say ko nang pare. Kong nang pare, depending on who I'm like talking to, yeah.
Okay.
Or he went to the mountain, drowa. He would be Kong rikang drowa, you know.
Okay.
So you can use these. I mean, I'm finding, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time trying to explain. You guys understand, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay, good.
Now you're doing great. Don't worry.
All right. Sorry, Kate has a question. 1 second. Oh, that's a specific situation. I'm not sure. So Katie was just asking, you know, let's say I meet someone who is younger than I am, right? Because in the Tibetan language, you have, like, if I was to say my little sister, or if you you have different way. You will say different words in Tibetan.
Or younger brother or older brother, right?
Exactly, but at the same time, I think more so what I meant to say was, depending on whether or not the person that you're talking to is younger than you, or if they're the same age as you, or if they're older than you will use certain words when you talk to them, right? It's very similar to the honorific system. So she asked, do I still use, can I still use one of these informal types of speech with someone who is younger than I am? And I don't know the answer to that. I think that's one of the things we'll all have to learn together when we go to Sarah.
It would be cool, right? Like, they're not made for age; they're made for respect, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The level of respect that you have for the person.
Yeah. Like that. It's interesting because what would you say to Rinpoche? He's younger than you are, but he's also Ken Rinpoche.
Calm, definitely calm, man.
Exactly. Yeah, certainly. Yeah. So Nganso. Nganso is we. And once again, you see that the particle tso here is just attached. So now this is interesting, actually. So you see that you've got the word for nga, right?
A lot of means.
So yeah. So yeah, really, like I and I, right?
I and I.
So
Yeah.
what would you say, like, you would think if you were to just add the particle tso on there, you would think that the word for we would be not so, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually just an exception. From all the grammar books and all the different studying that I've done of the language, I don't know why this N is in there. And nope, I haven't found an explanation as to why that got added in. That's usually what you would call a prenasal. And you'll see that, like, I won't go too in depth with that. Okay, so basically you'll just have to remember that instead of just adding so to na and saying not so, it's non so, right? You have to put that in on the end.
So if I say na, it's more like with a G, right? Nga, or how would you pronounce it?
Nga.
Nga. Nga. Back of the throat, right? Back of the throat.
Yeah, exactly.
Nga.
Exactly.
Nganso.
Nganso, right?
Oh.
So we keep going back to here. I'll go ahead and I'll give you one of the verbs, right? So our verb for is, this is the verb for is, re. Okay, so we saw earlier, like here, I'll give you a couple words. Remember, we have the word for Buddhist. We've got the word for we, which is non-so. And now we have the word for is, the verb, re. So if I was wanting, let's say, Hieronimo, give me the sentence, how would you say we are Buddhists?
Pan nganso.
So,
Or
okay, so remember this. Remember this.
okay.
Subject, object,
Oh, okay. So it's
verb.
so okay. Ngang
So is
ngang
so.
ngangso pa.
No. Okay, so nganso, we, or hold on.
Ngangso.
This would be our subject.
Oh.
This would be our Buddhists. You have to put, remember, okay, so the word for Buddhist is Nangpa. The word for Buddhists is Nangpa.
So let me do it. Let me do it. So I know I already have the answer, but I want to pronounce it. Is nampa no nam so nampa re
There you go. That's it.
nam so nampa re
Yeah. Nangpatso. Yeah.
nampa nampa re.
Nanto.
Or, yeah, actually, I don't even think you would put the so on there. I think it would be the same way. It would be the same either way. So to say Buddhist is the same as saying Buddhists, right? To say
Right.
we are Buddhist is the same as saying we are Buddhists.
So it's
So
nampa nam so pare.
no. No, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Just hang in there. Just hang in there. I mean, it'll be weird, you know. I mean, so you want to put the subject in there first, right? Which is going to be ngan so,
Nam so
right? Then you put the object in, which is this one.
nampa.
Exactly.
But you can just say pa instead of ngan pa because you already put ngan so.
No. The nang pa has to be in there, or nang has to be in there, because this is all considered one word. Yeah. So you have to have. You can't abbreviate any more than that.
Tibetan ngan po pa.
Let's make sure you have it before we go on.
Okay, so it's ngan so ngan re. You can say it that way, or you can.
No, you have to put the pa on there.
Pa re.
Yeah, you have to put ngan so nang pa re.
Ngan so ngan pa re.
There you go. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. The way we have it written here, the way I have it written here is how you have to say it.
Okay, subject, object, and verb.
Yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to just go ahead and introduce this this verb re, because I use it a lot whenever I'm walking around town, or I talk to Acadian Tibetan sometimes. I use that one a lot, and that's when you'll find it's very. You'll use it a lot, you know. So it'll be good to.
Sentence, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very prevalent.
Okay.
So, okay, let's keep going. Oh, here's that note that I was talking about, right? So, in practice, for he and she, you've got kong, which can be used for he and she. And so you can use kong instead of ko or mo or kodong and modong. And you would use this if you were talking to your teacher, or if you were talking to a professor or someone like that, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Here we're going to move on to genitive and dative cases. So basically what a genitive case is how it's possessive, right? How do we show that ownership of something, you know?
That's fine.
And we do that through genitive cases. So let's see. We learned the word for book earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Tenzin is just a name. It's a name like Adam or Katie or Geronimo, Pal.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to, okay, now you see here, this is the structure that you would use to show ownership of an object. Now you notice that you've got the owner and the owned, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this still follows the subject-object-verb structure, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So to say owner, ye, and owned, like let's say, how would we say the book of Tenzin? And we would do that by saying, remember, okay, so here's the word for book. Here's the word for of. and Tenzin is just a name. So how would I say the book of Tenzin?
Okay,
We
would
will
be.
say deck.
Remember? No. Flip it.
Sí,
So
acuérdate.
sujeto is Tenzin.
Yeah. So owner. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Tenzin
Yeah.
Tepki.
No, Tenzin Gi Tep. Yeah. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. It just doesn't sound right in your mind right now, you know, because you haven't familiarized yourself with it. It's okay, you know. So you'd say Tenzin Gi Tep, right?
Tenzin Gite.
Because yeah. So owner, Gi, of, and Teb. Now I don't want you to get too caught up on Gi meaning of, because Ki mean of. So can La. La can also mean of. Okay? So Gi doesn't necessarily mean of, but a majority of the time when you see it in this structure, it does. Does that make sense? Okay. Cool. So here's a couple more examples, right? You've got the owner, like if I was going to say the house of the Lama. Now remember, there is no word for the in Tibetan. So you're not going to see a word for the over here. But house of the Lama, you have owner,
Yeah.
Gi for of, and then Kangpa, house. So you've got owner, of, owned. So this is the object which is owned here. Yeah?
And why is father?
Oh.
It's because the Lama.
Okay, so well, no. I understand where you're going with that. So we were talking earlier about particles and how you could add, you know, pa to anything to make it like a person doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started that off by saying that pa was a particle, right? So the particle pa doesn't have this only function. It doesn't only do this. The particle pa does many things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so kangpa is actually just a part of the word. Like we know that the letter pa. Remember, pa is actually that letter, right? In Tibetan. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's actually just a letter.
Okay.
Now, it can either function as a particle, or it can just simply add to a syllable to make a word. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just because you see it here doesn't mean necessarily that it has to be a person of the house, you see? Or, you know how we were saying, like fisherman, or here. I'll give you another word. Like the word for farm, or field, the word for field, shing. So this is farm, or if I wanted to say shing pa, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be what?
The farmer.
Exactly. Yeah. So shing pa is farmer. Yeah. Now this was the first thing we went over tonight. Was what does adding the particle pa do to a word? So you can see the word for shing is farmer field. After we added pa, shing pa became farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's interesting that Hieronymo keeps bringing up these. I think you're acting like Shari Pucha right now, man. Because you're asking some really good questions. You know, don't. What's another good example? Okay, so you remember when we took this word earlier, right? What was this word?
We.
No.
We? No.
Buddhist.
Oh, yeah.
Buddhist. Remember? Yeah. Nangpa is Buddhist. So you can see that the letter pa, when it's added to a word, doesn't necessarily mean that it always makes. Oh gosh, I'm having a hard time explaining this.
Doesn't mean that it's always like a profession man on it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't always mean that it's a person who is doing an action, right? It does. Remember that the particle pa is just a letter.
Yeah.
And sometimes that letter is going to be used to just form a word. Yeah. So don't get too caught up on pa always meaning that, right?
Mm.
Okay. A good question, though, man. Good question. Here's another example. Cha is the word for tea. Geronimo sent me an audio recording of himself saying the word or the letter cha, and that word that you sent me, or that letter you sent me, actually means tea.
Okay.
So here you go again. Gi of Kong, price. Yeah. To say the price of the tea, you say cha gi Kong, right?
Okay.
The house of the Lama, Lama gi Kangpa.
Lama gi kampa. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, right?
What it is, what it is.
What it is, what it is.
I want to go there.
Don't you want to do that? All right. So let's go on to the dative cases. We went over this was the genitive case. Gi is the genitive case. Dative cases are la or to, right? I gave you guys the word for la when we were studying the alphabet. La can mean to, of, for. So, yeah, in the same way that I was just saying that pa doesn't necessarily have any one particular function. It doesn't have just one job, you know? La doesn't have just one job either. It does all these different things here.
You add in for, oh shit, mountain pass, okay.
Yeah.
How would you say, let's go into a mountain pass?
Let's go, right? Oh, man. I don't know, man. You just stumped me, brother. I have no idea. That's one of those things you could ask the monks, though, and they'd debate about with you, you know? Okay. So to use the dative case, la, you simply use the noun before la. So every other instance that we've seen, every other example that I've given you with of, or the genitive case here, showing ownership, or pretty much every other thing we went over. Well, anyways, to say like to pal, right? How would you expect it to be?
To
No.
to what?
To proud.
La pau.
La.
Paula.
No.
Okay, here you go. Listen, here's the word. Here's the verb, right? Remember, I gave you guys the verb for is, which is re. Here's the verb for listen. Nyen. right? Let's say pal means pal. And two is la. So how would I say listen to?
Paula Nguyen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Our connection. I'll be right back if it does.
Okay.
We have like 10 more minutes. We have to go.
Adam.
Yo.
We have 10 more minutes before we go to Dayland. Course 2, class 3.
3 or 2?
3 is class 3. No, class 2.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Class 2.
Okay, cool. Well, we don't have that much more. Not that much more.
You can send us if you
what was that?
If you can send us all that information that you have in Word to our emails.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. the new one that I've been typing here.
Yes, exactly. Because you send us this one, but
without the
examples.
The notes.
Oh.
Like
yeah, just leave it like that and
just
send it. Send it
save and then.
Yeah. No, I'll send you this one. Yeah, I'll send you this one.
Awesome, mate.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah.
You guys know here though, if I wanted to say like to Adam, I would say Adam La, right? But remember, we did learn that. What's going on there? We did learn that to we learned that there was a this here is Pla, right? Which means angel or deity. So you have to be a good listener, right? You have to be able to listen close enough to hear the difference between la and hla, right? Because if I say how hla, I could be saying, how, or if I was to say,
if I say geshe hla instead of geshe la.
Yeah, exactly. It's very subtle, It's like you wouldn't you have to be able to hear it in order to be able to listen to what somebody's saying, right?
Geshe hla.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to. Yeah. You get it. I think you understand. Basically, I only bring that up
Supremely subtle.
because it sounds so similar. You see, if I were to say "pow la," "pow hla."
Pow hla.
Yeah. Okay, you get it. You guys get it. So, you remember we were talking about we used the genitive case. We had the genitive case for "gi" earlier.
Yeah.
That means of, or how to show that somebody possesses something. So these are called possessive adjectives. All right. Now, when we have the word for me, right, was what? Yeah. Word for me, yeah. Word for my is nye. Nye.
Nay.
Yeah. So this is what they, you know how Guarania, right?
Yeah.
Uses that long e, right? So nye, like you have the whatever this little symbol here is, yeah, above the top, is just that's how you say you make this e a long e. You see, so It's not ni, but it's nye.
Nye. Nye.
Exactly. So that's why I put this Y here on the end. It's a little bit easier to understand if you put a Y there.
The name of that symbol in Spanish is ñ.
Inye.
Ñ.
Inye.
E,
Inye.
not I, not the, not an I.
Enye.
Ñ. Of course, yeah.
Enye.
Yeah.
Enye.
There you go. Ñ. Yeah, man. You got it.
I'm gonna learn Spanish, brother. I'm gonna get it, and you're gonna be amazed. All right. So yeah, I won't keep you guys too much longer. Give me 5 more minutes or a couple more minutes, okay?
Yeah, man.
So you've got the word for my or mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And once again, that follows that pattern that I, me, nga, my, nye. Okay. So you know how you can hear the similarity in that the word for my, mine, and I all start with ng, right? So that's just a way to kind of remember it a little bit. They're all kind of similar that way. You and yours. So the word for you is kerang, right? So if I was to say your, kerangi.
What?
Yeah. So the word for you, and you might have been in the kitchen when I went over this one. So I gave you a list of personal pronouns earlier. The word for you is kerang. And I was telling Pal that you're going to use this one. You will probably use kerang. You will use kerang and kong and nga more than any other word that you probably use. So these here are very important.
Okay. All right. Hello? Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Colgar.
Hello? Hello? All right.
Yo, what's ese?
Yo. Okay.
Ese?
All right, man. I guess that's it, man. You guys can go back and look at that little sheet, and I'll send you the updated version here. And I'll just point out this one last thing, and I've just put there's another few words on there. If you want to go over them by yourself, go ahead.
Okay.
The word for ours and your or theirs. Also, how do you say my friend? The word for friend, dropo,
Dropo.
and the word for my. The word for thee, or this, excuse me, di. The word for yours, kerangi, and the verb for is. So this is yours, di kerangi, re.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll send you this, and I'll go ahead and make up some notes and stuff for next week. But from now on, this is pretty much going to be the style of our classes, so that we can get you guys talking and speaking,
Great.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Adam. This was very good for us was sounds good to me.
All right, kids.
See you.
Right.
West side, man.
That's it. Till I die.
West side, ese.
See you guys. Good night.
Love you.
See you, brother.